Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the hardest movie to ever find. The real world movie, The Lost Season. The real world movie, The Lost Season, is a 2002 TV special movie that took place in between seasons of the real world. It was meant as a lost season, as it says on the title, that they shot, and for some unknown reason, they had to halt production and cancel it altogether. And it was never seen until now, which is what this DVD is. And it's ultimately about what you normally expect from MTV's The Real World, except that a crazy fan that's been trying to get on the show for years abducts the actual contestants of the show to pretty much hijack the show and make a crazy version of his own real world in his own house. And he tells everybody, you can't escape because I have wired the house with explosives, and we're all going to be roommates. It's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be exciting. This is going to be the best real world ever. And the reason why it's called the real world movie is not only because it's one, 90-minute movie. It's because the actual show was full screen, and the idea was this guy was going to make everything high def and widescreen and just cinematic overall. It'll be the cinematic real world experience. I saw this when it was on TV, and if you've ever seen the movie, that's probably how you've seen it, because ever since then, MTV disappeared the movie, making it pretty much impossible to find. I got the last copy on Amazon. I've been looking years to find this movie, because I actually thought it was fun. There's elements of it that are smart from an advertising scenario, but there's also things about it that hurt MTV, which is why I think they made it disappear. That, and it's also got some bad reviews. First of all, you have to understand that reality TV was pretty much at a bit of a peak during 2002, especially with The Real World, which is MTV's most successful series, as it just aired its 32nd season. It's still going on strong. I think this was somewhere in between the 7th and 8th, maybe the 8th and the 9th, somewhere around there. It was at the peak of reality TV, and so they came out with a movie. The cool thing about that is, in order to make reality feel real, and I understand that a lot of reality TV is scripted, but back in 2002, you didn't really think that. You really believed in the aspect that everything you're watching here is real. The drama was real. Everything was real. So when it comes down to this movie, could it be possible that a crazy fan would take over and hijack the show? Is that a possibility? Would that actually happen? I think, in general, it is a possibility. It could always happen, because that's what happens. When you're watching reality, you expect there to be mistakes. It's real, and it's raw, and in this case, it's thrilling, and it's exciting. When I first saw it, I thought it was real. I thought somebody just went crazy and hijacked the show, and these people were actually in danger. It really is a very smart marketing technique. On the other hand, it hurt MTV because they're going for the idea that their show actually is real. Everything in the show is actually happening for real. None of it's made up, none of it's scripted. That's the idea they're putting out there. And then they come out with this. And then they realize they're kind of admitting that their show is scripted and fake, and they can make it look real anyways. They can make something obviously fake and exciting and fun, but I'll get to that in a second. So let's get into that. Starting with the people category, the acting itself was obviously bad, but at the same time, you kind of expect that when you're talking about a reality TV show. People aren't actors in real life, so they're going to act stupid. And a lot of the times, that's what they're doing here. They believably act stupid, how you would expect to see them in a reality TV show. For the most part, that's what you get here. Some of them are a little bit overacting, and they don't feel like they fit in as much, so all in all, I'll give that 1 out of 2 possible stars. Characters, I will say that they tried to have a lot of diversity, different people when it came down to characters, but honestly, you're not going to really remember the characters all that much. You might remember the main guy that's taking over everything, as he has this Cillian Murphy type role, But other than that, you're not going to really remember the characters all that well. 1 out of 2 possible stars. How about the casting? 1 out of 2 possible stars there. As it comes to importance, they are collected and abducted as a whole, and as a whole, they try to help each other escape. So they all blend together. 1 out of 2 possible stars. They did try to squeeze in chemistry where chemistry did not feel proper. Felt forced, particularly seemed bad. For that, I'm going to have to give it 0. Writing score. Nothing about the dialogue really stands out. 1 out of 2 possible stars. The balance of the movie could have easily been a little bit better, as it's just people trying to escape their scenario. But for some reason, they wanted to make the movie seem even more authentic by cutting in and out to actual winners of the show as they wait for this group of characters to show up so they can start doing their tests, their games. It's because it switches back and forth for pretty much no reason. 1 out of 2 possible stars. I'm going to give full points to the story. It may not be the grandest story in the world. There are individual reasons for the characters by the end. So this I'm actually going to give it 2 out of 2 possible stars. I think they should make more movies like this where they take reality and they showcase what could happen in a reality situation because it's real. The idea was really cool because when I first saw it, I did actually think it was real. Then again, I was much younger and much more gullible than I am now, and I could obviously tell that it's not very realistic. But at the same time, can't help what I remember seeing. So for originality, 2 out of 2 possible stars. Yeah, I find the entire concept pretty cool and smart in a lot of good marketing ways. For that, I'm going to give interesting 2 out of 2 possible stars. BTS. Visuals. The visuals are horrible. I don't even understand what they were thinking when they made this DVD. It is interlaced. It has variable and changing frame rates. They didn't even understand how widescreen and full screen work. This DVD, as it says on the back, which is actually true, is a full frame DVD. And in the very beginning, it is full frame like the show. It never tries to be anything else. But then, when the guy kidnaps him and wants to make this cinematic real-world experience, they make the movie widescreen. 90% of this movie is black bar widescreen. When you have 90% widescreen, you need to make the black bars on the full screen part, not the widescreen part. That was annoying with this. Even the DVD, brand new, kept skipping. Just the visuals in general just were really bad. 0. Directing was okay. 1 out of 2 possible stars. I have to hand it to the editor. Yes, it looks like crap, but a lot of that has to do with what the real world looked like back in 2002. The way things were edited together. Their use of quick edited exterior shots and silly fonts and page peeling and swiping transitions that you would get on like PowerPoint. Things like that are really stupid. Felt right to the show, and because it was on this movie, I have to hand it to them for making that feel like the show. So I have to give that 2 out of 2 possible stars. It was as advertised. 2 out of 2 possible stars. Music, nothing really to stand out here. Yes, it's on MTV, which stands for Music TV, but back then, I can't really say that there was much to really stand out in terms of music or sound. For that, I'll give it 1 out of 2 possible stars. Up to the narrative arc score. The introduction did what it was supposed to do. It introduced us to all the main players / roommates that are going in this movie. They get abducted by Roland as an inciting incident, and they can't leave because of the explosive, he says, that are surrounding the house. So their obstacles are to figure out how to get out without killing themselves. Climax is a good culmination of everything, which is great, and the ending calms down and returns to a new sense of norm. And for all of that, I gotta say, each point gets full points, which is 10 out of 10 possible stars. How entertaining was this? Do I consider this rewatchable? Yes, I actually do. This was a rewatch, obviously, but it's not something I'd be like, I want to watch this again and again and again multiple times. I wouldn't mind watching it, in a couple years from now to see it again. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Do I consider it fun? Yes, this is definitely a fun movie. 2 out of 2 possible stars. Do I have an impulse to buy it? I bought it. 2 out of 2 possible stars. Do I have an impulse to talk about it outside of this review? Certain things I would like to talk about, yes, I wouldn't mind having a discussion about it because a lot of people don't even know the thing exists because MTV made sure it disappeared. But other than that, I don't want to rush to somebody and say you gotta see this movie. It's not like that. So overall, 1 out of 2 possible stars. And does it suck the audience in? For certain things here and there, yes. Some things are really, really tacky and actually probably look terrible to people, so that actually might push people away. But there are things that suck them in too. 1 out of 2 possible stars. Specialty. Alright, so IMDb lists this off as a comedy. It's actually not listed off as any other genre but comedy on IMDb. I'm not entirely sure they understand why it is like that. This is not a comedy movie in any sense of the word. 0. As far as thriller is considered, yeah, absolutely. 10 out of 10 possible stars. Doesn't feel like the real world as far as what's going on there. Like I said, with the editing specifically, they did a good job at making this feel like it fit right in between the seasons as an actual forgotten season. So 10 out of 10 possible stars. Whenever I see a movie that is based off of a TV show, or if it's a TV special movie or whatever, I have to weigh the odds against it feeling like a TV show episode and an actual movie. With this, it feels a lot like the TV show, reality show, which is fine and dandy, and then it moves into kind of a little bit more of a cinematic experience because it follows a narrative arc structure rather well. But in the end, does it feel like a movie? Does it feel like something they'd show in a theater or different enough from the TV show to warrant something like this? I think for the most part, it doesn't quite get to that point, especially because of the visuals being so horrendous. For that, I have to only give it 5 out of 10 possible stars. Is it halfway decent? In my personal opinion, I'd probably say yes all the way. However, I know a lot of people hate this movie, and that has to do with either being a fan of the show or just not understanding what the movie is trying to accomplish at the end. And I understand that it is a little bit confusing, especially from a reality show that's trying its hardest to be a reality show, and then coming out with this, which is very strange to them. I don't think it met the target audience that it intended to do, so for that I'm going to have to only give it 5 out of 10 possible stars for that. So if we add up everything together, we get 65 out of 100 possible stars, 65%. Guys, tell me what you thought about the real world movie, The Lost Season, in the comments down below. And follow me on Twitter and track.tv at username IAMDWG, that's IMDWG. As for YouTube, you can subscribe to me, hit that like button, and hit that bell to be notified when I come out with my next movie review, which will be tomorrow, and that will be Will Smith's movie on Netflix, Bright. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.